Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Burton. Today I want to talk to you about how stress and physician burnout can be improved with exercise. Everyone talks about how stressed out physicians are, and yes, over half of us are either on the verge or clinically burnt out at any given point in time. So therefore, it is a big issue. Um, but we talk about stress as though it's always a bad thing. Stress, however, comes in many shapes and sizes. There's mental stress, there's social stress, there's physical stress, metabolic stress. There's all kinds of varieties of stress that we encounter on a daily basis. So when we talk about stress, which type of stress are we talking about? Um, you know, Physicians and scientists, we don't always communicate with that term accurately when we're talking about how stress impacts physicians. It can be a wide range of emotions, from just a mild hyper alert state to clinical depression or anxiety. Um, on the far end of the spectrum is where we get burnout, where that occurs. But along that state, however, chronic stress, even if you don't reach clinical effects of anxiety or burnout, can still have a huge impact on our personal and professional lives as physicians. One of the things that we know from medical schools, that burnout or stress can cause diseases like heart disease, cancer, hypertension. Chronic stress also can break down the architecture of the brain, leading to memory loss, poor cognition, decreased executive function. And as overwhelming as stress can seem, really at its simplest, it's just a perturbation or a breakup of the status quo, if you will. Think of learning in med school, in residency, or even now as you do continuing education. That learning is actually a form of stress on the brain, but the brain adapts and grows because of it. Same with lifting heavy weights. Over time, your body, while it may be sore initially, it's going to adapt and will actually become stronger because of the stress that you put on the muscles and the bones. Um, Exercise also helps control the emotional and physical effects of stress. It's a release for that sensation of fight or flight, that the panic that can set in for some people when they're feeling burned out. Just like you would use exercise or use a antidepressant or anti-anxiolytic, exercise can have the same level of effect as some of those medications. In fact, I think it was in Duke, they did a study comparing exercise to Zoloft and found that exercise was just as effective, if not more so, than the medication at reducing symptoms of stress and anxiety. Now, my specialty is physical medicine and rehabilitation. So I talk to people about exercise every day, whether they're recovering from a back injury at work, whether they're recovering from a stroke, uh, or any other type of illness. Exercise is usually part of that rehabilitation process. It's a matter of gradually taking them from where they are, pushing the limits, and hopefully reaching a better, healthier state because of that stress that we're putting on the body through the exercise and rehabilitation. So if you're wondering why I'm such a proponent of exercise, it probably has to do something with the specialty I chose. But think of this body's or the stress's effects on the brain similar to that of the immune system. We take a vaccination of a live, small amount of live attenuated virus, and our body's immune system takes that and develops a resistance against it. Well, exercise can develop the same type of resilience to stress in our bodies by allowing us to be more resilient to stress over time. A couple other things to remember about stress is that cortisol, the effects of cortisol are extremely harmful to the body over the long term. It affects the release of neurotransmitters in the brain, breaks down the architecture of the brain, causing us to forget things we knew, which is definitely detrimental if you're a practicing physician. It also causes things like weight gain, which is not good for our overall health, as well as feeling good about ourselves. That's just another layer of stress on top of that. Exercise fires up that recovery process in our brain and our body. It leaves our minds and bodies stronger and more resilient. Over time, we can resist those stresses that are placed on us from the outside and take control of that stress in our body. Studies in medical students and general surgeons, both separate studies, found that those with regular exercise routines, both aerobic and strength training, found that they were much more able to fight off the effects of stress, and they were much less likely to reach burnout and clinical depression compared to their more sedentary colleagues. One of the things that I like to remind people is that exercise also releases serotonin, which enhances our sense of well-being, of happiness. So instead of using an antidepressant, exercise is probably just as effective without all the side effects. So if you want to start exercising or you've not been doing it, I totally understand. After having a couple of kids, my exercise routine became much more sporadic. But I know that when I do even just short bursts of high intensity exercise, I get the same benefits or even more benefit than doing an hour on the treadmill. Just getting out and doing something, even if it's short bursts of high intensity, can have the same benefits on your overall mental and physical well-being. So if you're going to start short. You don't have to schedule an hour or two every day to hit the gym. The other thing to remember is that exercising with someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coworker over lunch hour, or even I take the kids out, we go bike riding, we go running around, playing, doing push-ups, those sorts of activities, even with your kids. Not only does it help you feel better, it also instills in them the importance of exercise, and it's a bonding activity as well. If you want some more tips on getting started with exercise and how specifically the benefits of exercise can help you reduce stress, just go to ChristopherBurtonMD.com/spark. That's SPARK. That's ChristopherBurtonMD.com/spark. Because we're going to spark your life, get you that spark and the energy that you kind of lost due to the stress and the burnout that you may be feeling right now. So go ahead and download that sheet today. Go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, send me a message. I look forward to connecting with you in our next learning session. In the meantime, go out and maybe jog around the block and see how you feel. Have a great evening.